welcome back to the weekly Bleach Wiki shitpost. I'm Zill,
I'm Sun.
So,
and we're here with chapter 620, Where Do You Stand, which is further evidence of Kubo knowing how to English, which is surprising in and of itself. Okay. Um,
Sorry, what was that again? Sorry, say that again.
it's somehow like Kubo's gone from like really like hilariously bad English to like surprisingly decent English for
Oh
his
yeah.
titles. Like I remember Why Me Sad from the Fullbringer arc and such things as Bane looking good from the recent chapters. But now he's using like actual English phrases and
Yeah.
it just surprises me as well.
All right.
So, anyway, this was uh well, I wouldn't say interesting because it was more just kind of funny of a chapter to us. So I'm not gonna open the chapter or anything because it's gonna make a robot solves Joe's memory. So I believe we started off with Uryu and Ichigo finally talking to each other instead of doing their little Kaneda Tetsuo exchange. And
which was
so
complete bullshit.
oh yes, of course. So Uryu apparently knows about Juju Man's plans and what he's doing and what it'll do, and he claims that he's going to side with him regardless because he is a Quincy. Which at first I was
What
pretty
did I
mad about.
say?
I know,
Stupidest excuse ever.
Mhm.
but hear me out. After some thinking, and apparently some people on my blog agree with me, which is surprising. Um, it seems like this is more him bullshitting than anything else, given what happens later in the chapter. Because it seems like he was trying to go with like the most basic possible reason to give instead of like digging himself into a corner.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, I want the world to end. It's like, no, I'm a Quincy, which is true in and of itself. You can't really say like, oh no, you're in the wrong car. You've been in the wrong car all along. Surprise. Um, but I don't know. Like, I can explain that further in later on in the podcast. But you two, what do you think? Nothing?
Are we
Yeah,
who's
I'm
going
asking
first?
you.
I'm asking who go first. That's what I was
Well,
like.
like it's not you go first.
All right, no, well, obviously it's been like, you kind of go to yourself like, um, Ichigo finally asks like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, ugh. And then
What are you doing in the swamp?
like, oh my God, like I can't believe you did this, even though you've been standing beside him the whole time. Like, I'm so shocked. And it's like, what are you doing? Oh,
I
so
mean,
stupid. Like, I mean, it's not like like he hasn't just got like he didn't go with Ichigo up to the friggin' Soul Palace and stuff. But I did say last week that I do still think it's something to do with the Quincy, and even at that, being a Quincy has still always been very important to Uryu. So yeah.
well, all the people I told Sal like a week ago. I think Uryu's been dead all along, and Ichigo's still in denial about him.
Yeah, so now he's fighting him in his head.
Yeah, yes, and like no one else can see him. Orihime and Sato were just at Ishida for no reason. You see, my theory is flawless.
Floss, of course.
Flawless. Sal, you wanna rant?
Basic. Even if you try to explain away the
You're muted
fact
a sec.
that, huh?
Sorry, say go,
No,
go.
no,
Sorry, my
no, he was
apologies, my
good.
fault.
Go.
Even if you try to explain the fact away that, oh, he was bullshitting his way through the whole thing and he didn't intentionally hurt any daggone body, he just made sure
Oh,
they were out of the way. The fact of the matter is, he has done absolutely nothing to even remotely. He has. The thing is, we know for a fact, you know, he doesn't really have no backup plan. That much daggone was clear when it was made clear to him that they knew the real reason why he had joined them in the first daggone place. So what exactly is he doing against somebody who's getting increasingly more powerful as a daggone way? As the storyline goes on. I think it's all daggone freaking for not bullshit. It's the same type of mentality that I think Geen had with his, oh, I'm gonna wait 110 years and to finally you know do something like right when you get your most powerful. That doesn't even make any sense.
that is actually a
I
good
know.
comparison. I hadn't thought of that. Like, I don't think he's quite as amoral about it as
No,
Gin,
but he is complacent in this situation
but
by not doing anything.
yeah, like no, you're right because he is doing it to avenge someone. In this case, his mother. And I guess maybe all the other Quincy's that Juju Man killed, but he doesn't know them personally. And Gin was trying to avenge Rangiku because he took part of her soul, and maybe that's important, maybe not. But
Yeah.
if Uryu, okay, so while I don't condone his actions of doing things like shooting Yoruichi in the shoulder and shooting at Ichigo a few times, like if they deal with it realistically rather than be like, "Oh, you're okay, come back," because I think that they're past the point of that by now because Ichigo's pretty pissed at him instead of just being like, "Why?" Now he's like, "It's like you fucker." I'm gonna
Yeah.
kill you. And so they deal realistically like him being like, I don't know, ostracized from the human world or whatever, or just being like, or having to like actually work to be accepted back into his friends. Then I could maybe see it. Like I don't know about you, but because as long as it dealt with realistically, essentially, I think this could work out because
Yeah.
he isn't doing anything like intentionally bad, but he is standing on the sidelines, like you said. So, you know, that whole thing. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, next we get
Well, he's not even standing on the
like
sidelines.
before that, I mean, but prior to this, he was just standing by and letting Jimin do his thing. Now he's interfering. But what I mean is, for the most part, he's just been like letting it happen instead of actively being involved. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
so. Anyway, moving on, we finally have the rest of the Elite Simulator, or should I say, Schutzstaffel. Apparently, this is actually the Third Reich, and we've all been fooled. Um, and there's this whole thing about how Schutzstaffel is like an illegal word to use unless it's in fiction like this. I'm just glad they have a name personally, because like Elite Exterminator just seemed like although it is hard to
Well,
spell, like you know.
I'm a go out there and say exactly what I told you initially when
Uh-huh.
that came to light and stuff like that. I don't think first of all, I don't think it makes sense. Now, like I said, if we were reading Helsing or something like that, then all right, go for it. But, really out of nowhere, where you spent most of your time trying to disassociate yourself from this notion that what everybody was insinuating about, oh, the Quincy being like Nazis or whatever, yada yada yada, and then you get a whole load of just because they're using German language or some kind of uniforms,
or
and
they're being
then
militaristic, or they're
yeah,
like purging the hollows.
and
You know.
then, you have all these multi-ethnic, various, Quincy running around and everything like that. And now, out of nowhere, it seems, we're basically calling, you know, Box, elite guard, you know, the SS. Now, I don't know. There is no, and the thing is, like, I wouldn't have any issue if, it was, a typical German word for something or this, that, or the other thing. But that is something that's a very
Yeah.
specific organization that only exists in one period in history, which is during World War II. They are one of the organizations that carried out the biggest atrocities in human history, and you know to just arbitrarily use that out of anything you could have possibly used makes
Yeah.
no sense to me, especially after nothing even very remotely has been used. Like any other German word, any other thing would have been fine and stuff like that, but use something specifically Nazi is just beyond my understanding. I really just don't get it. I mean, people made a big deal when Ichigo's Bankai had the swastika,
Oh,
on the
jeez.
thing. Not, we got to take into account that the swastika was a symbol of peace and balance and so forth and so on in the Eastern philosophy, and it was hijacked
And
and
most
by
technically, like this was
by
actually it
the
was actually the
Nazis.
Manji that in
Yeah,
his
it,
name
it was
too.
hijacked by the Nazis for horrible and evil purposes and so forth and so on, much like most of what they did. manipulating things that already exist and, turning it on its ear and making it seem like something horrible when that's not even what it really was. Their whole thing was basically about misappropriating history to fit their
Hmm.
their viewpoint. But, to take something that is innately and entirely, because there is no other origin for that word outside of the creation of that organization. And, no organization, I mean, a bunch of neo-Nazi groups have claimed to be the continuation, but they
Oh,
themselves have never even officially, designated themselves as, because there are too many different groups and with too many different agendas. The point is that I don't think that was necessary. It just seemed kind of really out of the blue, and
you
you know,
know,
I don't think,
well, I no, wait, finish. Sorry.
yeah, I don't think Kubo is I mean, I understand the viewpoint here is, he's Japanese. So, a lot of stuff that happened in Japan and stuff like that was, in their area. They didn't have to deal with Nazis. They didn't have to deal with the things that happened over
Except
in the
to
West
ally with him.
and stuff
Well,
like
yeah,
that. So they don't comprehend on the same level as people who are in the West do about those certain situations. It doesn't mean the same thing to them. It's the same
yeah,
difference as, somebody raised in a different country. Like, we get into conversations all the time about, how a person who is black from Canada wouldn't understand the issues that somebody who's black from America, because they don't have the same history, they don't have the same culture, they weren't raised in the same, area,
Hmm.
even though we're in the same continent. It's two different countries.
yeah. So I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if in the volume release of this chapter, which would be actually the probably around in summer, because I think it's the next volume would contain this one. I would be surprised if it was changed to something else, like another German word, or like maybe just like a Japanese term, because it might legitimately be Kubo not understanding the connotation of the word, and him like I think there have been a couple times where he's used like a certain chapter title in English and then changed it to something else, um, like in the volume release because like it was offensive or it was like improper, and of course it would probably it would probably be changed in the Viz release because I know they censored Grimjaw flipping off the audience back when that came out. So you know,
I mean, it's quite
um,
clear that he's going on whatever, probably Wikipedia or something like that, and using,
translate.
The Nazis as a motif for the Vadenreich and stuff like that, which is whatever. It doesn't mean anything, but, the very fact that you can use something alluding to something is entirely different from outright stating this, that, or the other thing. And maybe he said, "Oh, well, wait a minute. This means, I can see right here, this means such and such. Let's use that." Maybe you should have scrolled down further and read a little bit more. Like, like,
Yeah.
The
you
shit
know what I'm
stopped
saying?
for a group of people. Okay, okay, all right. They protected someone. Oh wait, what? They kill people? Oh shit! Chapter's already out. God damn it.
I mean, the thing is that what's in the chapter and what's in real life is entirely two separate daggone things. So I don't understand how you're gonna put one and relate it to the other one and say, oh, just because, I mean, the name sounds similar to what they do, when one in real life obviously did far more than that. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why they would use that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Well, it might just be a mistake, but moving on. So I just want to make note of something here that actually interested me. So, Gerard is back in the picture. He's actually the only story narrator who had a speaking role this chapter, I believe. And because Leo got Joseph Joestarred by Uryu because Uryu's cool like that apparently. And what interests me is that like somehow Gerard is like actually a benevolent character despite being a Sternritter and one of the most powerful ones. Because if you look closely, you'll notice that that when Pranita fell off the palace because it was crumbling, Gerard caught him under one arm and carried him to safety. And then when Uryu after Uryu pulled his little Joseph Joestar moment and predicted what Leo's going to say about protecting Juju Man. He was all like, "Nicely said. You have my approval." And given that like all the Sternritter in the one rank were like really like uncertain and or pissed about Uryu being uh, Juju Man's success in the first place, that's kind of surprising. So apparently he's actually a pretty cool guy, despite being probably insane. I don't know. It was kind of surprising to see any of the Surrender like actually caring about each other or whatnot,
I don't know. Well, you don't know. It could have been that he caught him because he was quite useful.
or because like well I don't know. I don't know, but
Well,
like
because especially at the minute we know that Juju Man wants to be protected
I
at the
don't know, but
moment.
like it seemed like because like he did it and no one else did. No one else made an attempt to get him, and there's all and even then like he didn't have to say you have my approval to Uryu. He did anyway because he's all boisterous. He reminds me a lot of Aquaman from Batman the Brave and the Bold, more so than this whole Thor thing, to be honest.
He looks more
He
like
he,
Thor
he
though.
looks like Thor. He acts like Aquaman. I like it. Oh,
Oh,
that yeah.
hi, hello. You've got through to the Bleach Wiki podcast. How can we help you?
Would
Sorry.
you like us to rant at you about Juju Man for 5 minutes? We can do that pretty
hmm
easily.
Press 1. If you want us to rant about Oreo, press 2. If you want us to rant about Nazis, press
If you want
3.
us to rant about,
And
if
then
you want
go
us to
and then
whine,
go shoot
if
yourself.
you want us to whine about Unohana, press any other button.
Any other button to hang up.
Oh, please.
Because still won't
Yeah,
let
I,
us.
I refuse. I'm so done with that by now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh
I know.
yeah.
I'm only
Also,
joking.
people were comparing Uryu to Sasuke in this chapter. I'm not really seeing it. Sasuke's done far worse, I think.
Oh no, he's done far worse,
And,
but I
and,
mean, at the
and
end of the
more,
day.
may I say? Like, and
Hmm.
he switched sides more times.
Yeah, well, obviously, but Sasuke was kind of weird. Obviously, I think I can see where they're coming from because why have you got to go, Sasuke? I am an Avenger. Why have you got to do this, Uryu? I am a
Oh,
Quincy.
Quinn, whatever. But
It's
um,
just because this is what I
yeah.
am, and it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay.
So, moving on a bit further more of Ryu's actions. So, rather than letting the Terminator go ahead and fight and likely kill Orihime, Ganju, and Chad. Um,
Well, we don't know at this point.
well, assuming they would have because they're super powerful. Well, like at least fight. All right, at least fight. We know they would have because they were getting ready. Like.
Okay, yeah,
Because
yeah,
Jiraiya
they
was pulling his sword out and Leo had his rifle out and Askin was asking. But Uryu destroys the ground with more arrows, which at first I thought that's what the Schutzstaffel was referring to, but no,
hmm
it was just some more Heilig Befehl. And uh, Ichigo falls, and then Leo shoots him because there's really no harm in making something like that. And then this is the point where I think helps reinforce the idea that Uryu is still not completely on the side of Juju Man, or at least he's just lying still because he didn't try to kill Ichigo and his pals, which would have made sense as a an official follower of Bach, because you don't want them coming
I
back.
mean, well, at this stage, do we really think Uru can kill Ichigo with a simple
Well, no,
shot?
I mean at least try. Like he didn't really even like try to do it. He just made them fall instead. Because as he noted like, oh, they won't. There's no chance they'll come back. But like but you think that we should have killed them anyway just to make sure, because that's what it means to protect Bach, and he didn't do that. So it seems to me like he's still not like completely on board with killing his quote unquote former friends.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like what do you two think?
I still think it's something to do with his Quincy heritage still. I mean, I know it's like just because I am a Quincy, but I
Just
mean,
Leon Quincy.
I said it last week, and I'll still maintain that Quincy's, their root is in Juju Man. And Juju Man, he has been ranting on and on about how he can control Quincy's and stuff, and he did make Ichigo do that by, granted through it was his sword, but still, so there may be a limit of control or a limit of, like, if Iryu doesn't stand up to him, then he will take control of him, maybe, or maybe he's blackmailing him with the Ryokan and stuff. We don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm being really quiet because I'm babysitting
Yeah,
tonight.
she
Sorry.
has a child, not her own child, but someone she kidnapped. So
Someone can.
um
He wishes.
yeah,
I tell
yeah,
you that.
Urio's all like, oh, I'm a Quincy Ichigo, I do what I want. Just squeeze some Quincy.
I think it's all daggone bullshit. Yeah, he didn't outright attack them, but he's not helping either. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know
he's
I'm
making the
not.
situation worse. Like I don't.
He is not like free of guilt in this situation. I'm not gonna even try to say that.
Yeah, like maybe, because I mean, he knows, like, Ichigo has said to him, like, this is going to destroy everything, but I'm just wondering if he thinks something else is going to happen. I
He
wonder.
thinks Bach's gonna break into song and dance and everything will be okay again. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously. And
totally.
to the final part of the chapter, Bach absorbs Mimi Hagi. I did not think that was gonna happen. But apparently he can do that with his power.
Well, he's trying to. He said, protect me while I do it.
Well, no. He said he was going to take everything else that the Soul King was that belonged to Soul King and to protect him while he's doing that. But he did absorb Mimi Hagi, which is why he has the facial tattoo now.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry,
But
my apologies.
no,
Yes, I
it's
forgot.
okay. But so apparently he got a taste of that power. Like I guess he just decided to do it on a whim, and now he wants more. And while this so the way I see it, this is setting up to buy Ichigo and the others more time to get up there because he said that he and his followers aren't going to go back to Sarate and destroy it or like annihilate it by destroying I don't know everything completely. They're going to lay that off and go about taking everything else that the Soul King, the Soul King, presumably the other limbs, and
Hmm.
that seems to me to buy more time for Ichigo and the others to get.
He gonna take his penis. He gonna
Yeah,
take his penis.
he'll have
Sorry.
two dicks, and
That's every woman's dream.
oh please, I think a lot of them might not
I
actually like
beg to
that. I'm pretty
differ.
sure a lot of women probably don't want that.
Well, yeah, most women,
GP.
son here prefers three, but
Ooh.
you know,
Wow, if you're seeing
she's Irish, so
ah, yeah.
Actually, I prefer four. I like two in the ears.
two in the ears.
I'm gonna skull fuck you and drain the memories out your hole.
I'm quite
Like
literal, Wet
in my
Willie.
ears so I can hear you coming.
Well, moving back to Bleach from that dirty conversation. What I was going to say was, this seems to be giving Ichigo and the other Shinigami and his friends, of course, because they matter,
That's right.
more time to get back to the palace and face him. Because, like, it's hard to explain this, but I think this is like a standard like trope of the villain like getting more power while the hero's on his way, and then when he gets there, he's super powerful. I mean, maybe this will be enough to make Ichigo draw his Bankai. Maybe not,
If
but
anyone else besides Urahara would have a plan, and even this type of situation is a little bit beyond Urahara, I don't see anybody else with a damn plan. So this is not the typical situation where the super bad guy gets all this power, and then the other guy's like, "Oh wait, well I have this plan, and
well, no,
we've already
I don't think he's a plan because they still have
there
the
is no
ability
plan."
to get it. Well, they still have the ability to get to the Soul Palace. Like
So unless
they still have the
Ichigo
doors.
beats him through the power of plot armor, I don't see any of this. I mean, the only possible option that I have here is that something I just recently thought of while we've been on this podcast is that what is the possibility that Bach has been set up? And the more I was thinking about it, the more it seemed really unlikely that Soul King, if he truly had the ability to see into the future and stuff like that, he didn't see all this happening or going to happen and stuff like that. And which means doesn't mean one particular instance, but all the instances leading up to it. So he knew that Bach was going to come and destroy Soul Society. He knew that he was going to, come to Soul Palace. He knew he was going to, get past the Royal Guard. He knew he was going to come there and have Ichigo cut him in half and all this other stuff. And then it led me to believe that he knew that Bach, being the greedy parasite that he is going to make the ultimate attempt of not just killing the Soul King or having the Soul King dead, but absorbing him and his power. And then it led me to believe that, well, wait a minute. What if that was his plan all along?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people had that idea.
Have Bach absorb him, and thereby daggone reassert himself using daggone Bach. All the power that he's ingested can't belong to a parasite. A god,
Yeah.
surely a god can have all that power, but a parasite, never could have it for much longer because he never know what to do with it. At least we forget Bach doesn't really create. That's not what he does. He feeds on things. What happens when you become the most powerful thing, and there's nothing left to feed on? You feed on yourself, most likely.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's doomed either way. And between him and Aizen, it's like a freaking smorgasbord to reconstitute Soul King / God of epic proportions.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people had that idea. Not necessarily that it was like the Soul King's plan all along, but that that in doing all this, he would become the new Soul King and thus be like doomed to like serve out like the rest of his immortal life as you know
That's a
like
possibility.
the linchpin of existence. Like this whole thing about about him killing the Soul King and taking all his powers and then becoming the Soul King reminds me of that one guy from Warhammer 40K who who takes over the body whoever kills him and then like transforms them into himself so he lives on forever. I don't know
Was
that
it
that
it
I forget
was
his
the
name.
Emperor's Children?
Yeah, he was blessed with one of the gods, I think.
Lucius the Eternal or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I think that's what he was. That's what it reminds me of.
Sounds a bit like Orochimaru.
Sort of, but it's like no matter what, whoever kills him is transformed into him. So he takes joy in being defeated by someone, but only because he knows he'll come back anyway. But
Oh, right.
but like this whole thing about Bach being outplanned. Just I was thinking of I was like, I know what your next one will be, Bach. I
Well,
become the new god. I become the
well,
new god. What?
look how Bach has acted ever since his eyes have opened up and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I've seen this, I planned this, da da da. Not necessarily planned it, but he's seen it happen, so forth and so on. Now, if his indication is, which he did, is that the Soul King has the ability to see the daggone future, and the idea is that he would have the ability to plan for the future. Now, his whole thing in this chapter is that Bach's power surpassed him, which it just seems like a huge Eisen like boast at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time or
Oh yeah.
whatever. But the very fact, I just can't, it can't, I mean, it's been happening for a while. I can't get past the fact that the Soul King sat there. I mean, pretty much is like existing in a state of inaction, literally, like no limbs. And obviously, it's an entity beyond comprehension. Even Eisen can't really comprehend what it is. And its power is such that its very existence daggone holds everything together. So my thought process here is obviously if it's a living thing and it's a thinking thing, and he created the Royal Guard, he gave them their abilities, he did this, he did that. So the whole concept when Bach shows up and he doesn't make a sound, doesn't do anything, doesn't say anything. It just seems kind of odd to me that he just,
Maybe
made no.
he's busy checking his Facebook and he didn't notice all this.
And then
Yeah,
the
he's
cryptic
taking Instagram and no
words,
Oh,
filter.
then
no
the
filter.
cryptic words left by Ichibe when Ichigo when them ran off. He says something really weird, and you're like, he doesn't seem to be all that broken up. At the same time, he's like, oh, you got to
Is he
stop.
ever? He's
Yeah.
always
Well,
happy.
at first he's like, you got to stop him, and then he's like, but you won't be able to.
But that's okay because that's what peace is all about.
Yeah, and I'm
And
like,
I
okay,
explained what
maybe
that meant a
he.
while back. But
And then Ichibei is probably the most knowledgeable out of anybody as far as um things yet to well, he knows the name and he is very perceptive about, I guess following the will of the Soul King. So I'm pretty sure that there was something in there. I mean, would it be impossible to think that the Royal Guard were supposed to put up a good fight to make it look good?
oh yeah, guys, just faint back and forth for a few minutes. Make him think that we're trying.
Not even
Suckers.
that. I mean, like, fight, sure enough, but if he gets by you, don't make a big deal about it.
Yeah,
You
I have a feeling that their fights lasted as long as Ichibei versus Jujuman did because if I have a feeling that Ichibei cares enough about his fellow squad members that if any of them have been defeated in the middle of combat, he'd been like Tenjiro or whatever. So
Yeah, and it
you
just
know,
seems really unlikely that, all this just happened and the one guy that was on the Shinigami side who could see into the future made no preparations at all for it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So maybe there are plans are being planned around plans.
What's the likelihood that one of the most prominent captains in the Go to 13 ended up getting disease, and his grandparents ended up taking him to this obscure, guardian deity on the outskirts of the Rukungai, and just happened to be the right hand of the Soul King.
You know what? This
Mhm.
reminds me of fucking Superman Red Son, where Luther's like, "Oh, you might forgive me for thinking that this wasn't planned out to the 80th decimal 40 years ago." Like I don't know. This that seems like some pretty like insanely like Luther or like Ozymandias type shit, just
Well,
planning
think
it
about
all
it
out
though. Most of
over the
the
years.
most of the protagonists is based on very long envisioned plans. Eisen's plan took 110 years. Um, Bach's plan took like,
A
well,
thousand.
would say so much like a plan, but he takes credit for a lot of daggone things. Um, but he waited 1,000 years in order to enact whatever he's going to enact and everything like that. And for once, it would make sense that somebody else would have and especially something like the Soul King, the Bleach's universe of God, if you will, that if his power is what it is, then you would assume that his ability to quote unquote see into the future is far more superior than anybody else's.
Well,
Mhm.
out of the other one person who has it, but I get your point.
And if he plans something to set something up within the last at least 1,000 years, then
Yeah.
he'll make it happen.
Well, I suppose the
Yeah.
question now is what's going to happen to Ukitake if Chichimen's taken the
No, don't.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just questioning. God, I
All I
mean,
know is,
You brought it
all I
up.
know
oh
is
no, I
the
brought up
old
your trauma.
saying.
And I
What's
will
the
be
saying?
crying
The
solidly.
the young will eat the old, but only if they
It,
let
it,
them.
is that I have not heard that
Yeah.
ever.
Oh yeah. The
Is
saying is
it?
the young will eat the old, but only if you let him.
I see.
Mhm.
You know. So the thing is that you know if, as he says, oh, he's the Soul King's son or whatever, then well, guess what? It's pretty clear that you're absentee father.
Oh yeah, Soul
Probably
King's a deadbeat
conceived
dad.
could probably
Plot
conceived
Mhm.
twist.
for what you
The
were, and he prepared for that intention. And
He's the child of a broken
my
home.
guess is, as powerful as Bach likes to think he is, and how much he can see and stuff like that, he may very well be in a position where he won't see what's coming until it's too late.
Maybe he left Jujuman and Jujuman's mother after he realized they basically just uh, like created Hellspawn in her womb. And I was like, nope, I'm out of here. Bye.
Well,
I don't know. Seems
Jews.
legit. Seems legit.
Stop snowing.
We all know Juju Man's mommy was kind of sitting there and was visited by the Archangel Soul
The
King
stork.
and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna, impregnate you with Juju Man, the parasite.
Well,
You want the Antichrist, right?
yes. Do you want the Antichrist or Satan spawn or Satan?
Or Quincy spawn? Yeah, mm-hmm. Yep,
Do
you
you
do
want
want the Quincy
the
spawn.
OG Quincy? All right. Well, do we decide to do the predictions for next chapter in this podcast, or are we doing a separate one? What's going on, son? No,
Me?
like no,
I.
like I think we talked about it in Skype. Like what
Oh yeah. Well, didn't we do it last
we
week?
did
Didn't
last
we
week.
predict?
I was wondering what the additional podcast is going to be about.
Oh yeah. Like no. I'll talk about that another time. I'm really tired right now. No,
Okay,
that's fine.
well, you guys heard nothing at all. Don't rewind.
Don't we
Yeah,
rind? What? We heard
yeah.
nothing.
The listeners heard nothing from us.
No, it was just no. The one I was talking about is something completely different. Something I'm kind of trying to work on at the minute, using answers as well
Oh,
as Wiki.
jeez. Oh boy, that was fun.
Yeah,
Well,
huh?
anyway,
Well, just for
as for
some fun.
predictions, I think we're gonna cut back to Doug Kananji next chapter, and we're gonna have a 5 chapter miniseries about his reaction shots to this whole thing, and everyone will
think
love it.
that
It'll revive the sales of Bleach all on its own.
I think Gerard is going to be turned out to actually Gerard. Now you have me saying it, Gerard is going to appear to actually be cones stuck inside his body with a pill, and he's going to turn into like he's just going to get stuck. His eyes are just going to be stay glued to Orihime's chest,
Oh,
and that's how he's going to die.
okay. Well, okay, cool. I just want to know. I just want to know what the hell the miracle does. That's all. I want to know if it means he's an evangelist who works miracles with holy water and
Well,
snakes.
the miracle is that he can survive staring at women's breasts.
Assuming that he even has like any sort of attraction for others, like as like very few people in this series do. Like there's like Hisagi, Orihime, Ichigo, and that's about it.
Yeah, Hisagi, and like, because we all know that whenever we fancy someone, we have nosebleeds. I don't know why did that ever become
I guess
funny?
I don't know because like all the blood rushes to their head, and then it just happens.
No. When you fancy someone, the blood goes the other way.
Well,
To your
like
feet.
yes,
Yeah,
to
it
your
go to the
feet.
peenie.
No, well, like I guess apparently like I don't know. I guess like it means you're getting excited, so the blood goes to your head, and then it comes out. I don't know.
Your nose.
Maybe it's supposed to be like a metaphor for the penis. For like daytime TV kids shows, can't show them that.
Okay.
It's for
Got
the
ya.
adults.
It's for the adults.
But yeah, that's really about it, to be honest. It was a decent enough chapter, even with all the Akira shit going on. And
Have you got any predictions, Sal?
Nope. I would predict that Yurio finally gets what's coming to him.
Yeah, he
Because
needs to
this-
get a
a
Shunko
big
I'm
slap
ass.
sorry,
upside the head.
but for the last couple of chapters, this is something that has been inherently a problem since the start of this arc. There is a severe pacing issue, and it comes and goes throughout the arc, and now it's gotten slow again.
I'd
None
say
of this this interaction between Ichigo and Yoryu is fucking interesting. Get to
I'd
the
say
fucking point.
I said the pacing was
Get to the porn.
Get
Get
to the porn. Get to the
I know, but it's like
hentai
a
that we're just waiting for Bleach to turn into.
Sorry. See, it's really late for me. I'm very tired. I didn't get any sleep today. My
I'd say the
apologies.
pacing was fine in the beginning of the arc, and then like as soon as the second invasion hit, that's when all the problems really started. Like because before it was very fast paced, and there wasn't like all the fights that happened in the first invasion were like a few panels between chapters, and
But I think
and
the
it, it
issue is
was going fast.
when you can tell that Kubo is basically just drawing something out longer than it needs to be drawn out for whatever reason. It's like that whole thing this past chapter, the chapter before that, like there were interesting issues that went on in there, but then there was parts in there that just did not need to happen. Like,
Yeah,
why
the
would you
like
take
they've
all
been.
that time getting Ichigo and them to come up to the royal palace for them to confront Bach and them and stuff like that, only to knock them back down? That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Like,
one
get to
thing
the point.
one
There should
thing
have
to
been a
argue.
fight there.
Oh yeah, one thing
Yeah.
to argue about like the past. I guess being the chapters this year in particular is there have been too many fucking reaction shots. Like seriously,
Yeah.
we get the point. Like if everyone's shaking, like then everyone's freaking out or is just confused, like people in the human world. But like we don't need that many reactions every time that like something happens. It's come on, we like you could use that for more fighting, more porn. I don't know, more kissing. Turn this into a hentai.
Sorry, that was my fault, guys.
Yes, a sunset all this with their four penises thing.
Sorry.
But
Ugh.
that's the whole thing. Like the pacing has been so daggone freaking slow, and it's just like, okay, you know what? I don't care. They had a panel in the last chapter where it was Ichigo, then Yuryu, then Ichigo, then Yuryu, and they're like talking back and forth like 50 feet away from each other, and I'm just like, who the hell cares about this shit? Fight! Like what? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna shoot the ground below you, and you're gonna fall down, and you're never gonna come back up. And now we're gonna have what? 5 more daggone chapters before anything interesting happened. Like, come on.
That sound like John. I don't even care. I care immensely.
Like
But you don't. You.
it's stupid. I don't understand what the whole point of that whole interaction should have been. Ichigo versus Bach. The Yuryu comes in. There's Ichigo versus Bach versus Yuryu. Blah 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 blah. Everybody else jump in. Here come the other Stern Ritter. Fight, huge fight.
An
Go
actual
to 13
fight?
comes up there. Another huge fight, and all that other stuff in between. Even if Bach was not exit Bach, he's going to go absorb something or whatever, have you drink some tea or whatever. Who cares? And he's off doing whatever, and Yuryu standing in Ichigo's way, and it's Ichigo versus Yuryu. Whatever, as long as there is some forward movement in this series, because look, we all know that this is the freaking end of the daggone thing. I don't know why he got out there, went on the daggone thing saying, oh, I'm going to reveal this, and so-and-so's going to return, and this and that, and this is going to last 15 years. Like, come on, just end this shit. Come on. This is, I mean, we are already too late for you to reveal this and reveal that and all the other stuff. You are at the point where the bad guy has met the daggone guy who holds all of existence together and has pretty much cut his ass in half. Like, let's get to the point.
I agree. But
like this is just getting drawn out too long, and I don't know what else we're gonna possibly. There's nothing else to see. I was in it just to see the daggone Bankai releases for all the people we haven't seen. That doesn't seem like it's gonna be happening anymore in the art. So
Yeah.
I mean, they showed Ichibe's and just didn't even give us Shikai for the rest of the daggone Royal Guard, let alone Bankai. So
they gave Shinjiro Shikai.
Yeah, we didn't even see what that did. So
I don't know. Maybe
it's like,
maybe he's hoping for an.
Thing, and then we're gonna just gloss right over it.
I feel like if Kubo had more like authority and respect in Shonen Jump, he could get away with more. Like fucking the author of One Piece can just take hiatuses whenever he damn well pleases because
like for 5 years.
Well, no, like he took one. He takes like week long hiatuses just like whenever, and like Shonen Jump don't do shit about it because like One Piece is like the cash cow franchise and makes them so much money, so they just let them do whatever. But like Bleach isn't that huge of a thing anymore, so if like Kubo kind of gets bullied around and like even like the 6 week hiatus way back in 2013 was really kind of stretching like kind of pushing it because. It was putting the series on hiatus for a month and a half, and I feel like that might have been what resulted in some of these like pacing things where people like tell them to like kick it up or move it down, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does come down to like a matter of respect within the magazine, and to some extent. Like I'm not gonna like alleviate Kubo of all the blame here because some of it is his decision to drag it out or skip over things as he sees fit. And while I can't say like I would know how to do it better in some instances, like I will say that I still don't like it. So
A
Yeah.
simple showcase and explanation does not take up that much page space,
you mean like
especially between all these daggone shots of people's reactions and shit.
you mean like your idea of Ukitake saying, "Okay, I'm about to die, but before I do, let me show you my Bankai," and just explain it in copious detail for 17 pages for no reason, of course.
No,
I just want to show
not
you.
necessarily that, but in the instance where it can be used, you can explain it, you can showcase it. It doesn't take that. Instead of filling the daggone pages up, daggone reaction shots and daggone freaking uh pictures with no commentary at all, which we've seen multiple times.
Yeah, to be
Or I could
honest, like
see this daggone
I've
power flying through the air, or somebody
like
shooting this, or somebody looking a certain way but not saying anything. And I'm
it,
like, you could have said something there.
like to be honest, I've just stopped
Yeah.
when like the chapters start to, like in the last couple of chapters when there's been panels of like characters literally just like looking shocked and stuff. I haven't even added the article. I just been like I just skipped over them because it's not even worth adding to their thing. They're just like Ishida, Dato, or whatever. It's it's just it's a come on,
Yeah.
Kubo, step
Well,
it
what's his
up.
name appeared? Yuryu-kun. Yuryu. Okay, we all know his name. We all know who
Kagame
he is.
Inuyasha, Kagame Inuyasha.
Yeah, it's like we all look. Everybody reading and everybody in the actual situation knows who that is. So that wasn't even necessary.
Yeah.
That's like
We
when I walk into my friend's house. Everybody that I walk in. Everybody when I walk in, everybody says my name. Like why? You all know who I am. I knew who you are.
Yeah.
That's not even necessary. Nobody does
Salute
that.
Senpai. Sao-san. Sao-kun. Sao.
But they
Sao-chan.
did an entire page of that. For what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ishida-kun, Ishida. Oh, yeah,
Kuzu-kun.
annoys me. It's one of my pet hates as well for subs or translations, is when like in English, like if we're surprised that something's happened, it's like we don't go. We would like if we're surprised, like say if someone ambushes people or whatever, you turn around and go, oh shit, someone, like the name, whatever. It annoys me whenever they translate it and they literally translate it to you are Byakuya. And it's like, yeah, you know he's Byakuya. You know that. We know that. Why are you telling us he's Byakuya?
I'm maybe Orihime is secretly hoping that her saying Ishida-kun will trigger his holo transformation that has been lying dormant for all these years, and then he will proceed
Oh
to
god,
destroy
no.
everything. As with Ichigo, with Ichigo, why not with Uryu? I mean, come on, it's all there.
Because
Ah,
at
come on, if we had
best,
known that.
Yuryu's a freaking full bringer.
Yes, it all makes sense now. Somehow, I guess, maybe, possibly. I
Which
don't know.
means his
Yeah.
power is as pointless as all the other full bringers.
Yeah, he'll have the ability to sprout.
Yeah, where did they go? Do you remember they like appeared in
He'll
this
have the
arc?
ability to
And it was
sprout
like,
dicks. That's what matters.
That's another thing. The return of the full bringers and stuff like that. Like there was essentially no point to bring them there. The point in time when them and Grimjaw and whoever you could have been brung in as a reserve help could have been of any necessity has long since passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Sternritter initially
in.
attacked, they should have been there handling the fact that what we got was an illusion of Grimjaw, the backs of the daggone freaking execution, and we still for whatever reason have a Nell that's a baby
Ugh.
in a situation where we need all the daggone firepower we can get, on top of all the other stupid shit like a dead Unohana and a missing Yachiru that really has no real apparent effect on the story at its current point. unless Yuichiro is the daggone left arm of the Soul King or some shit. I don't know, but this is this is getting kind of ridiculous. It really just is.
Kind of,
Like he's supposed to be revealing things, and he's just bringing more issues up. I think.
That's one of my pet hates at the minute is every single chapter you get the same user saying over and over again before they say anything about the chapter. No Grimjoe. Oh fuck.
Like what the hell, kid? This is just my point. Kubo should have been man enough to daggone kill Grimjaw when, when freaking Nanarita
when it was relevant.
Put that daggone freaking thing to his neck. Like that should have been the end of it. He should have been dead.
Yeah. Well,
they killed he killed Yokira, so I don't understand why Grimjaw can't die. And it just seems kind of ridiculous to me that he would just leave him alive for no apparent reason, because unless he pulls out something miraculous, anything he does at this point is just going to end up getting him killed anyway.
Segunda Tercera, or no, Tercera Etapa, my bad.
What?
And this is to go even further beyond, and then I'll have longer hair.
Yeah, and he's a Super Saiyan now. I
guess he has a longer hair in his resurrection.
My name's not Grimjaw anymore. It's Vegeta. I'm like, okay, there's a huge copyright infringement that just took place.
Flash.
But
yeah, what is it, like Super Resurrection?
Yeah, it's just getting kind of like ridiculous because you put all these people in there, and it's just like at this point it'd be different if they came out during the second invasion and whatnot and started fighting and everything. Then but exactly who do they have to fight now?
The 4 elites and Hoshwolf, which
the 4 elites and
Hoshwolf. Hoshwolf is apparently off drinking tea or something.
This also brings up the point: at what point does the Go to 13 serve at this point? Because if the elite guard is so daggone powerful that they can beat the Royal Guard, then what does the Go to 13 who
numbers
and half of them are fucked up as it is? What are they going to do?
Numbers and plot armor. That's their power.
I mean,
Byakuya survived.
Fan service, look.
All that I can expect to happen is Yorihara and Shunsui releasing their Bankai and blowing up existence. But other than that,
their Bankai will only work when together. Otherwise, it's useless because they're that important.
Well, all I imagine them coming up there, the guy's hoisting up Aizen on his freaking chair or whatever, and Shunsui daggone comes over there with his blades out with freaking Ukitaki's lifeless body tied to his back, and Yorihara the rest of them like attack, and then
attack.
Shunsui daggone releases his Bankai, Yorihara releases his Bankai, and then with the last
Ukitaki's last words will be
vestiges of his life force daggone, Ukitaki releases his Bankai, and it causes the black pole that daggone freaking swallows existence. And that's the end of Bleach.
Clearly Yorihara says, "Go! Attack!" With those flamboyant hand gestures and posing and like a fucking Joestar.
Well, he probably would do it with his fan, it's not beyond.
No, but I think at this point it's beyond the comedic fan thing where he's flip attack, and then I think even he knows the situation is too serious for his fan. Oh, maybe his hat will save him. His hat is the source of all darkness in the universe, after all. According to you.
Black, then yeah.
That's where all the black from Ichibei's Zanbakuto came from, his hat.
Yeah, so you destroy existence with those 3 guys alone, and that's it.
Yay! 10 out of 10, best ending.
Pretty much. That's how that happens.
Anyway, I think we are actually on to shit posting at this point. So, no, it's fine. It's hilarious, but well, this has been our chapter. We made our predictions. We're probably gonna be wrong because we're not serious for any of them, I don't think. And I guess we'll see you guys for 621. Yay!
Yay!
And
don't forget to follow us on Twitter.
Like my MySpace page that I don't have. Make one for me, then like it.
Oh, don't worry, no one has a MySpace page anymore.
Follow my Instagram.
Not even Bleach.
Follow our Instagram.
We don't have Instagram.
Yet.
No filter. Hashtag. Night night,
Bye.
guys. Turning off.